as we are getting closer and closer to election day, we are seeing more and more data and early vote in this poll. This is an average poll. We're seeing Stamberger leading by 8.9 points compared to Glenn Youngkin's margin of 50.6, which is a 1.9 margin. She is on pace to win this election by a substantial amount. Even when Earl Sears is extremely unpopular, even if she wasn't extremely unpopular, Stamberger will most likely be leading because it's a Democratic wave year. Democratic voters are more engaged and more present in off-year elections in the 2026, which is next year, and other races like 2022 midterms. And we see in the data, this is the early vote count for the governor's race in Virginia. We're seeing Abigail Spanberger leading by 300,000 votes. This is far greater. This would be a landslide. You're seeing it fill up. Even in the first day of early voting, it's doubled. Stamberger, based on the data, in my opinion, has this race unlocked. She's on track to winning this by the circumstances of facing an unpopular candidate and being in a Democratic wave year. She's on track to win this by like 10 to 12, 13, maybe 14 points. The governor's race will overall affect the down ballot votes. For lieutenant governor, the Democrat there is most likely to win. She most likely riding out on support of Stamberger and the Democratic wave year, especially in the upper side of the state where federal workers work around that area, and especially taking into effect that Kamala Harris won the state by 6 in a Republican-friendly year. Now onto the Attorney General's race. This race, in my opinion, is a 50-50. Look at the polling here. Oh, there's no average. Okay. Where's the average? Is there no average? Okay, so the scandal, I'm not really sure what date the scandal came out, but we're seeing, look at this. 9, 16, 3, 6, 1, 7, 6, 4, 6. Jay Jones had a clear advantage going into this race, being a Democratic wave here, like I said before, riding off the momentum of Abigail Spanberger. But when the scandal came out, voters changed their mind. We're seeing way 43 to 49, 45, 50. That's a basically a majority of voters right there. 49, another basic majority. Then 49. But look at this. Jones has a 51. We're seeing when the election day gets closer and closer, the polarization between both sides. The Jones voters that previously were like, "Oh my gosh, I can't vote for this guy," are coming back to his camp because they would rather see a Democrat in there than a Republican, because in their they're saying that a Democrat is overall better than a Trump sucking Republican. Now we're looking at a much closer election. This is New Jersey the governor race. Look at this. Murphy carried a substantial 47% vote by mail advantage over Chillarelli, but now Chillarelli is leading by a 41% average. She is underperforming significantly. We still have 2 days. I think we still have 1 day of early voting. This could change, but the likelihood that she's getting 7% in a day, that's probably very unlikely. If we look at the race from 4 years ago, the incumbent governor, Chris Murphy, won by 3 points. From a year ago at that point, Biden just won the state by like 15 points. And now we're in a Democratic wave year, but this is extremely interesting that she's underperforming by 6. Chitterelli could easily win this race, but everything has to go right. This has to stay the same, and Democrats need to overall stay home for him to win, which is probably this is Democrats are increasingly being more and more engaged ever since the 2020 no not sorry not the 2020 the 2018 midterm elections. But this race is super winnable for the Republican in the race. Trump overperformed by 10 points from the last election. The race last year was a big eye opener for Democrats and Republicans. Republicans are now investing in the state. Democrats before the 2024 election were not really investing, but before Biden, this was I find really strange. But even when Kamala Harris first became a Democratic nominee, Trump pulled out of key states like New Hampshire, New Jersey, which Trump really wasn't campaigning in New Jersey after Biden dropped out, and he still outperformed by 10. And assuming, which is always this always happens in American politics, where the Republican gets the majority of the in-person vote. If Mikey Sherrill is underperforming by 6 points, Chitterelli can win by I would estimate around like 4 to 5 points if everything goes right. But in U.S. politics, almost everything goes wrong. Especially in a Democratic wave year where, like I said, Abigail Spanberger is winning by 10 points next door in Virginia. Zoran Madani is winning possibly like 20 to 25 points in New York City. Democrats are more engaged than Republicans. This will most likely be a Mikey Sherrill victory, but I do see a world where Jack Chitterelli wins this election. Now on to New York City. This election is going to be a landslide for Mondami and the Democratic Party. Look at these polls. 18, 15, 10, 10, 6, 16, 25, 7, 15. This is a three-way race in New York City, where the Democrat is almost destined to win, no matter who you are. This would be the same case for Andrew Cuomo if the situation was entirely reversed, where Cuomo won the primary instead of Zoran. But Mondami is very likely to get over 50% of the vote. I would say around like 53, 51, 55. Not Republicans. Democrats outnumber Republicans by 6-1 in this city. It is impossible for Cuomo or Sliwa to win, especially Sliwa at 17.3%. But since Mondami is bringing out younger voters and at an increasing rate in the primary, Cuomo, Sliwa are destined to lose. And even if, well, Adams already dropped out, but look at this. Mondami has been increasing his lead, increasing. Cuomo and Sliwa are stagnant. And then Adams drops out, which I still think that Adams dropping out and endorsing Andrew Cuomo is sort of a liability, because let me describe this. Okay, so when Kamala Harris was proud to receive Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney's endorsement, the guy, love him or hate him, he left the office with a 9%, something like that, a 9% approval rating. Adams was always destined to lose this race. Look at this. I mean, I see, yeah, he was averaging around like 11 points. I see why Cuomo fans would make the argument that this overall helps Cuomo, but this is still New York City. They outnumber Republicans by 6-1. So thanks for watching. Remember, if you're registered to vote, please vote. If you're in New Jersey, Virginia, or NYC, and if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment if you want to. No one's forcing you to. And goodbye.